energy in the building. I don't suspect that would be a problem today.
Well, let's hope not. You know, again, you kind of summed up what it's like to play against an original 6 team, Montreal in particular. Everybody's a little more excited, fans, players. You know, so we need to get off to a better start. We'd like to play at the lead. We haven't done it for 4 games. Prior to that, you go back to the Detroit game. We score early. We feel good about ourselves. And it's not necessarily the goal. It's the input into establishing a direct type of game that we need to get back to. We had it earlier in the year. We need to get back to it.
It's been a bit of a tough stretch for Cam with, I think, 4 straight losses. Can you maybe just discuss where you feel his game is at? And then on top of that, the decision to go with Mikko tonight and what you've seen from him? Yeah,
Mikko will play tonight. We've been going back and forth here trying to establish a backup situation that Mikko's in right now. He's given us some very good games, confidence builders in Nashville right off the bat. He really played well, and I think the team, their belief system in him went way up, and he's played very well. So he'll go again tonight. He'll be, I'm assuming Carey Price is going to play. It'll be a thrill for him to play against Carey and to play against the Canadiens. So he's looking forward to that opportunity.
Todd, we're seeing a little bit of a shift in hockey here. There's a lot more smaller players. There's a lot more attention paid to big hits. And what the result has been some hits that, like Cassian, throwing some hits against some smaller players that are getting penalized that in retrospect might not reach penalties. Are you seeing a shift, and is it harder to be a big physical player in today's game?
I think there is a shift. There's a heightened awareness to protecting players, not only in our sport, but sport in general. You think about football and the quarterback and the controversies that are behind that, and it's hard to argue with the protection of the player, whether it be the head or the rest of the body. And there's a newer generation that's taking over the game. They're quicker, they're smaller. I think there's less contact. There's a lot more anticipating where the puck's going and stripping and picking passes off. It doesn't mean that the big, heavy, hard player, there's still a place for them in the game. They've just got to adjust their game a little bit. A lot of times finishing the check, you're running out of position, and now you got to catch up. But you know, as far as the penalties go, I think the game is going that direction. I'm sure it's going to stay that way. I don't see it slipping back to days in the past, if you will.
Todd, good to see you. The Habs have caught a lot of people off guard, I think, this year with their speed level. When you look across at their bench, the challenges that they'll present to your team tonight?
You answered your question. Speed and tenacity up front. They scored a lot of goals 5-on-5. They are puck hounds. You may beat one, but the next one's going to be there, and they have that next man up mentality when it comes to forecheck. When you talk about beating a forecheck, you usually talk about that initial wave and now get it out of your end and get going, but they happen to have more than one wave. That initial one, the re-attack before you're out of your zone, maybe that just at your blue line again. So there's almost 3 stages of beating their tenacity, and it's been very effective for them. They've been able to score 5-on-5, so they've got it going right now. And I say this almost every night: we've got our work cut out for us.
Todd, when you're in a bit of a slide like this, is the message to the guys to try not to put too much pressure on yourselves to kind of get out of it, just go out and play, and you'll get out of it that way? Because it just seems like, obviously, you're in a city where things go sour, people kind of, the sky is falling type thing.
Yeah, we can't hide. There's pressure on us. I can't walk in there and say, hey guys, don't worry about the pressure, it doesn't exist. Yeah, it exists. We're in the NHL, we're in a Canadian city, and we're expected to be playing better than we are right now. So the last thing I'm going to do is go in there and pretend I'm hiding in the weeds and it doesn't exist. It exists. Now play with it. Pressure is one thing. It's the frustration that's the worst of the 2 evils. Pressure comes in this league. It comes if you're a star player. It comes if you're a 4th line player and you're trying to stay in the league. It comes when you're winning. It comes when you're losing. Every team has it. We talk about it a lot more when you're on a 4-game losing streak, but when you're on a 4-game winning streak, that pressure still exists. So accept it, deal with it, channel it, get rid of the frustration, and play a better game.